3 pepper plants. Same bed, same compost, same seed packet, same week in the ground. By week 8, 2 of them look ordinary, a dozen small peppers each, pale green leaves, stems that sway in a light breeze. The third plant is carrying 41 peppers, thick-walled, heavy, splitting at the tip from their own sugar weight. The stem is as rigid as young timber. The leaves are a deep, saturated blue-green that does not happen by accident. The only difference between that plant and the other 2 is 1 liquid brewed in a mason jar for under $1. That is what we are making today. Subscribe right now because we are breaking down exactly what that liquid is, exactly how to brew it, and exactly how to push it further than the standard recipe so your results look like that third pepper plant and not the other 2. Here is what most gardeners get wrong. They obsess over what they can see. The leaves, the fruit, the color. The plant does not work from the top down, it works from the bottom up. Everything above the soil is the final output of a process happening underground, inside a living ecosystem of bacteria, fungi, and microscopic organisms most gardeners have never considered. When that underground ecosystem is weak, no fertilizer poured on top will save it. You are putting expensive fuel into a broken engine. What we are making does not feed the plant. It feeds the ecosystem that feeds the plant, and then goes further, delivering growth hormones directly into the root zone, flooding the soil with amino acids roots absorb on contact, and coating the root system in a drought protection compound that has kept desert organisms alive through years of complete desiccation. All from one ingredient in your kitchen right now: Saccharomyces cerevisiae, baker's yeast. The moment yeast meets warm water and sugar, it wakes up as a colony and produces a chemical output that has been documented across multiple peer-reviewed journals: Crop Science, BMC, Plant Biology, Frontiers in Plant Science, the Journal of Plant Growth Regulation. What those studies collectively show is that fermented yeast water delivers 4 separate mechanisms of plant benefit simultaneously. No commercial product does all 4 at once. The first mechanism is hormonal. Saccharomyces cerevisiae produces auxins and cytokinins as natural metabolic byproducts of its growth cycle. Auxins, specifically the molecule indole-3 acetic acid, are the primary growth regulators controlling root development. Every new root tip that pushes into the soil does so because auxin is directing it. Auxin signals root cells to elongate, to divide, to push deeper in search of water and mineral contact. Applying fermented yeast water to the root zone floods that zone with auxin at concentrations that trigger an immediate root growth response. Not slow, not gradual. Researchers observing root development under controlled conditions after yeast water application have documented measurable new root tip formation within 48 to 72 hours. Cytokinins handle the above-ground half of the same equation. They are the growth hormones responsible for cell division at the growing tips of stems and branches. When cytokinin levels are elevated, the plant pushes new growth aggressively. This is why yeast-treated plants put on visible new growth so quickly after application. The rooting hormone powder sold at garden centers for $15 to $20 a bottle is a synthetic laboratory version of auxin alone. That is the entire product. You are paying $20 for a copy of one molecule that yeast produces as a free byproduct of eating sugar. The second is direct nutrition. Yeast secretes amino acids, B vitamins, and trace minerals directly into the surrounding liquid, already in their smallest, most bioavailable form. Roots do not digest, convert, or wait. They absorb on contact. This is why the growth response shows up within 72 hours. The third is biological defense. Yeast colonizes the root zone and physically crowds out fusarium, pythium, and root rot bacteria. It also produces glycopeptide compounds that switch on the plant's own immune signaling. The plant grows faster and grows defended. The fourth is drought armor. Yeast produces a compound called trehalose, the same molecule that allows desert organisms to survive complete dehydration. Once absorbed into plant tissue, trehalose regulates how leaves manage water loss at the cellular level. During heat waves that strip neighboring gardens, treated plants hold their color, hold their fruit, stay standing. Now here is exactly how to make it. Start with 1 quart of water. Temperature matters more than most people realize. Too hot and the yeast colony dies before it ever activates. Too cold and it stays dormant and fermentation never begins. The target is body temperature, the point where water on your skin feels completely neutral, neither warm nor cool. That is where yeast wakes up fastest and multiplies most aggressively. Add 1 tablespoon of dry active yeast. Standard grocery store baker's yeast, the kind sold in small foil packets or in a jar next to the baking supplies. Expired yeast very often still contains live spores. Do not discard old packets. They may still produce a fully active culture. Add 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. White, brown, or raw, the variety makes no functional difference because the sugar is not going to your plant. The sugar is the fuel that activates the colony and drives the fermentation. The colony eats it and produces everything else. Cytokinins handle the above-ground half of the same equation. They are the growth hormones responsible for cell division at the growing tips of stems and branches, the exact points where new leaves unfurl, where new side shoots push out, where the plant decides how wide and how tall it is going to grow. When cytokinin levels are elevated, the plant does not ease into new growth. It pushes aggressively the way a young tree pushes in its first season in full sun after years in the shade. The stem thickens. New branches reach outward. The canopy fills in with a density that changes how the whole plant looks within days. This is not a slow process. Gardeners who apply yeast water for the first time are often startled by how quickly the visible change arrives, new shoot tips emerging, leaves unfurling faster than they expected, the whole plant taking on a denser, more structured shape within the first week. That response is cytokinin at work, and yeast is producing it continuously throughout the fermentation window. Now consider what the garden centre is actually selling when it puts rooting hormone powder on the shelf at $15 to $20 a bottle. A synthetic laboratory version of auxin alone. 1 molecule. That is the entire product. No cytokinins, no amino acids, no immune compounds, no trehalose, nothing else. You are paying $20 for a copy of 1 molecule that yeast produces as a free byproduct of eating 2 tablespoons of sugar in a glass jar on your kitchen shelf. Place the jar somewhere dark and warm. A kitchen cabinet, a pantry shelf, a garage corner that holds above 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Now wait. Not 30 minutes, not 1 hour. For this version, you are waiting a minimum of 2 hours and up to 12. The extended fermentation window is where the difference in potency is built. The longer the colony runs within that window, the larger the population becomes, the more hormones accumulate, the more amino acids are released, the more trehalose is synthesized. A thick foam cap, beige, dense and layered, will form on the surface exactly like the head on a freshly poured beer. That foam is the visible confirmation the colony is alive and multiplying at full speed. When that cap is firm and fully developed, the concentrate is ready. Do not apply this concentrate directly to plants or soil. This is the step most people rush, and it is the step that turns a powerful treatment into a damaging one. At full concentration, the fermented liquid is far too biologically intense for direct contact with fine root hairs, those microscopic, hair-thin structures at the outermost tips of the root system that are responsible for the vast majority of water and nutrient absorption the plant does. Burning them sets the plant back weeks, and shocking the surrounding microbiome with an overdose of biology defeats the entire purpose of brewing this in the first place. Take the full jar and pour it into a standard 5-gallon bucket of plain water. Rainwater is the best choice because it arrives at the soil carrying no chlorine, no fluoride, and no chemical treatment residue that could interfere with the living culture you just spent hours building. Dechlorinated tap water is a reliable alternative. Fill a bucket the evening before you plan to apply. Leave it sitting uncovered overnight, and by morning the chlorine will have off-gassed completely and the water will be safe for living biology. That full jar poured into 5 gallons gives you a 1:20 dilution ratio, which is the concentration range where the yeast biology is active and effective without being overwhelming to the root zone. Stir the bucket thoroughly before pouring so the concentrate distributes evenly through the water, rather than settling at the bottom and creating uneven pockets of high concentration in the soil. What is now in that bucket is a living biostimulant containing plant growth hormones, pre-built amino acids, B vitamins, immune-activating compounds, and drought protection chemistry. But it is still missing 3 minerals critical for the kind of results in that opening comparison: potassium, magnesium, calcium. All three can be added from materials already in your kitchen and your fireplace, and adding them transforms this from a biological growth booster into a complete nutritional system. The first additive is wood ash. Clean wood ash from a fireplace, a wood stove, or a fire pit is one of the most concentrated natural potassium sources available outside commercial fertilizer. Potassium content runs between 5 and 7% by dry weight, with additional calcium, magnesium, and trace elements alongside it. Add 1 tablespoon of clean wood ash to the 5-gallon bucket and stir. Use only ash from untreated, unpainted natural wood. Ash from charcoal briquettes, pressure-treated lumber, or painted timber contains combustion residues that are toxic to soil biology. Avoid those entirely. Potassium is the mineral most directly responsible for fruit size, fruit weight, and fruit sugar concentration. It drives the transport of carbohydrates through the plant's vascular system, from the leaves where they are manufactured to the developing fruit where they are needed. Without adequate potassium, fruit stays small, thin-walled, and low in sugar. With it, fruit fills out fully, walls thicken, and flavor concentrates. The second additive is Epsom salt. Magnesium sulfate, sold as Epsom salt in every pharmacy and most grocery stores, dissolves completely in water and delivers magnesium in a form immediately accessible to plant roots. Add 1 tablespoon to the bucket and stir until fully dissolved. Magnesium sits at the absolute center of every chlorophyll molecule in every leaf on the plant. Without sufficient magnesium, the plant cannot manufacture chlorophyll at normal rates, and the visible result is intervenal yellowing. The leaf veins stay green while the tissue between them fades to pale yellow or cream. This is one of the most common deficiencies in vegetable gardens, and one of the most frequently misdiagnosed as nitrogen deficiency. With adequate magnesium in the root zone, leaves take on that deep, saturated, waxy green that signals a plant running its photosynthetic process at full efficiency. Every sugar molecule, every carbohydrate that eventually becomes fruit, originates in the leaf as a product of photosynthesis. A plant with full magnesium support produces more sugar per leaf, which means more fuel for growth and more fuel for fruit fill. The third additive is eggshell powder. Dry your used eggshells completely, then grind them as fine as possible. A dedicated coffee grinder works excellently. Add 1 tablespoon of the powder to the bucket. Eggshells are very nearly pure calcium carbonate. Calcium performs 2 critical roles in plant health. First, it builds cell walls. Strong calcium availability means thick, rigid cell walls throughout the plant, in the stems, in the leaves, in the skin of developing fruit. Second, calcium deficiency is the specific cause of blossom end rot in tomatoes, peppers, and squash. Blossom end rot is not a fungal disease, it is a calcium mobility problem. When calcium cannot reach the rapidly expanding tissue at the base of a developing fruit fast enough, those cells collapse and die, creating the sunken black rot found on the bottom of tomatoes at the worst possible moment. Consistent calcium in the root zone eliminates this problem almost entirely. The fine grind matters. Finer particle size means greater surface area exposed to soil microbes, and faster conversion of the calcium carbonate into a form roots can take in directly. Stir all 3 additives into the diluted yeast water. The living yeast biology in the solution assists in unlocking and chelating those minerals, binding them in organic complexes that roots absorb more efficiently than the same minerals from any standard commercial fertilizer formulation. What is now in that 5-gallon bucket costs less than $1 to produce and contains living biology, growth hormones, drought protection, immune activation, amino acids, B vitamins, potassium, magnesium, and calcium in a biologically active, chelated, immediately available form. Pour it at the base of your plants. Soak the soil thoroughly in the root zone. Do not splash the leaves with this version. The minerals in solution leave residue on leaf tissue. Apply it at 3 specific moments across the growing season. The first application goes in at transplant time. This is the most critical pour of the season, the moment the plant is establishing its root network in new soil. Flooding that zone with auxin, cytokinin, and amino acids at transplant gives the root system a launch it cannot produce on its own. The second application goes in at the start of flowering. This is when the plant faces its highest hormonal demand, holding open flowers long enough for pollination while simultaneously pushing vegetative growth. The biological support of this application keeps flowers from dropping, strengthens the flower-to-stem connection, and prepares the root zone for the nutritional demand that fruit set is about to create. The third application goes in once fruit has visibly set and begun to expand. Nutritional demand spikes at this stage because the plant is diverting enormous resources into developing fruit. The potassium from the wood ash, the calcium from the eggshell powder, and the continued hormonal support from the yeast all serve the fruit fill phase directly. Within 72 hours of the first application, watch the leaves. They will stiffen slightly, stand more upright, and shift deeper in color. Not dramatically, not overnight, but enough that you will notice it and wonder what changed. Within a week, crouch down and look at the main stem where it meets the soil line. Run your finger around it. The thickness will be measurable, the kind of change you can feel before you can fully see it. The stem pressing back with a firmness it did not have before. The root system below that stem is doing something it has never done at this speed, pushing new tips in every direction, building the underground architecture that will determine everything the plant produces above ground for the rest of the season. By week 2, the side branches will be thicker, the leaf canopy denser, the whole structure of the plant more substantial than plants of the same age growing beside it without the treatment. By week 3, the plant in front of you will no longer resemble the one you put in the ground. It will look like it has had an extra season of growth compressed into 21 days. It will look like that third pepper plant, the one carrying 41 fruits so heavy they pull the branches sideways and force you to drive extra stakes into the ground just to keep the whole structure upright. The one that stops neighbors mid-stride at the fence, pointing, asking what you are doing differently, because whatever it is, they want to know. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications because every method on this channel is built the same way. Kitchen ingredients, peer-reviewed biology, and results visible with your own eyes. There is a specific soil amendment that pairs directly with the yeast biology in this recipe. And when the two are stacked together, the growth difference stops looking like gardening and starts looking like a controlled greenhouse experiment. That method is in the next video on your screen right now. Watch it next because the two together produce results that look impossible until you grow them yourself. The harvest starts tonight.